I wanted to know. I start the session. Any one of you is having the accessibility of the laptop, or are you joining the session on your mobile phones only and you do not have access to your laptops? So do you have laptops with you or not? Just give me a quick reply, yes or no. Type it or whatever. Yes. Okay. Jayashri does not have it. Anyone else? Come on, hurry up. Using mobile. Or Nitesh, apart from you, कौन है? Pratiksha, Pranav, Rohan, Akshita, Chinmay. Any one of you is using? Not even replying. So let it be. So I'll just start. So in the last session, we talked about this financial modeling and the essential part of financial modeling. And primarily it constitutes of the three main statements which we have to study. First one is income statement. Second one is the balance sheet. And the third one is cash flow statement. So these are the three essential components which financial modeling should have in it while we are preparing it. So one of its kind is the income statement. Okay. Now, since you do not have access to your laptops, so I'll just show you how it is. It has to be prepared, and I will share the slides with you also, so that you can access it. Otherwise, initially I was thinking of letting you do it along with me, so that we can learn in the process. But unfortunately, you do not have. Most of you does not have access to the laptops. In that case, I will try to learn it step by step only using PPTs. So the first thing first, and we have to understand what income statement is. So it is very simple, and I am pretty sure that you all might have heard it once in during this course of time. So it is there is only one formula which you need to remember, and that is total revenue minus total expenses. As simple as that. So if we have to calculate the net income of a company or of a business, what we have to do? We have to calculate the total gains or total revenues, and we have to subtract total expenses, and the remaining amount which we will get would be our net income. Okay. So once we have created our income statement, we will see how much money we have made or lost in a specific period. And we will also see the amount we are making or spending per category. This information will help us to see our efficiency, whether our businesses are profitable or not. The data will also tell us what aspects of our business needs improvement. So if we have certain categorization within the income statement, so we can easily identify our weak areas and we can try to improve on that part. Okay. So the first and the foremost important part while preparing a balance a statement is income statement is we have to choose the period or the time frame which to which we are dealing with. Most income statements are prepared annually. So generally our income statement has to be prepared annually, but that way we can see how we did our previous years and what we can improve. However, we can create quarterly also, even monthly in some cases when the business is new or something like this. income statement. This is particularly useful if your business is new or if you are changing strategies like simultaneously. You are just trying to improvise every month. So in that case, we can even go for monthly also. The second part is have your journal on hand. We should have our entries in a journal ready to with us if we want to create an income statement. So accurate record keeping is necessary for any statement we make. That is why businesses need to keep track of their financial transactions in a journal. तो जो भी हमारे financial transactions हो रहे हैं, we should have the entry for each transaction. If we haven't started a journal yet, we can create our income statement with our receipts, बैंक स्टेटमेंट्स एंड अदर रिकॉर्ड्स. जो हमारे पास बिल्स वगैरह हैं, बैंक स्टेटमेंट्स है, उसको यूज करके भी वी कैन क्रिएट अ जर्नल, वी कैन क्रिएट अ इनकम स्टेटमेंट. As long as we have complete details, we can make a reasonably accurate income statement. So what we should choose the period for which we are trying to prepare an income statement. After choosing the period, we should have all the necessary transactional details with us, so that by way of the receipts or the bank statements and other things, so that we can create an accurate income statement. Now what we have to do, we have to arrange our information in a order so that it looks like a income statement. So before moving any forward with creating the income statement, we should arrange them first. So in income statement, there are basically 4 categories. Okay, first one, it starts with revenue, then operating expenses, then gains, and then non-recurring events. Okay, so what is revenue or profit? It refers to the money made and spent during your company's primary purpose. What are operating expenses? It refers to the company's day-to-day expenses. Operating itself means like operable income, which we need to incur on a day-to-day basis. These are your required expenditure to your businesses. Okay, and then gain or losses from continuing operations. It refers to the interest, expense, taxes, and other cash movements unrelated to operations. These are occurring out of our continuing operations. They are not part of our main expenses or expenses related with the operations like raw material or something like this. And then non-recurring events refers to a significant non-recurring gains and losses. These could be the sale or purchase of significant assets, income from discounted operations, accounting consideration, and other items. These are the basic definitions which you can find anywhere. Find which section each transaction falls in, so it will be easier to fill out your Excel file later. So first thing what we have to comprehend is to understand the nature of the expenses. For example, if a company is buying a machinery in mid of the operation, so we should understand what type of expenses is this, so that we can categorize it and put it into the appropriate column or the part of the income statement. This is how it has to be done. Now, what we have to do, we have to start from the very scratch, and we have to make the Excel file. Okay, so this is pretty simple. I have shown you multiple number of times how Excel works. To make your income statement, first open up Microsoft Excel, go to Microsoft Excel, open it, and then create a new file. Create a file. In the first cell, type in company name. First cell mein you have to type the name of the company, along with it income statement. Okay, this helps you organize your files, especially if you need to print this document. Skip one row and then write covered period. This shows what dates are covered by this income statement. Okay, initially I was thinking of showing it you like while I am doing and you are understanding it, but it is more relatable when you are doing it simultaneously. If I have to do it, so I'll show it you the way I am doing it now. So if you feel any discomfort or you are unable to get what have been taught or what have been teaching, please let me know so that we can ponder further. Okay, so this is the screenshot. This is how it would look like. For example, this is in this sheet, ACME incorporations income statement. You can write anything out of it, company name and then covered period. This is how we have to start our work. Then what we have to do, we have to find our subcategories as discussed earlier also. So we have different categories, and we have to find the appropriate subcategories for those categories. There are basically 4 categories. I told you: revenue, operating, gains, and non-recurring events. The 4 categories provided remain the same across most companies. Other companies, it would look like same. However, the sections under here will change from business to business. But when the nature of business would change, the sections under these 4 categories might be changed also. To help you choose which section to place, here are some examples. This is only example. This depends upon the nature of the business, the type of business you are dealing in. Okay. So first one is revenue, as told earlier. So revenue, the basic or the most important part of it, of getting revenue, is through sales only. Sales can be gross sales, bed merchandise, and for example, our gross sale is like in 10,000 rupees, for example, and bed merchandise is the return we are getting. So 2,000 is the return, and so our net sale would be 8,000. Then the cost of goods sold. This refers to your capital for your inventory, the amount you are investing in your inventory. This is only applicable if your business deals with physical items. Okay, if you are like manufacturing something, you are manufacturing biscuits, or you are manufacturing machines or something like this. So if the physical item is there, the cost of goods sold would be there. If you are service-based business, you can skip this section. So we don't need to put it separately, cost of goods sold. Beginning inventory, this is the kind of capital expenditure which we called as the inventory which we used at very starting of the company. And then the purchased goods, raw materials, manufacturing labor, total goods available, ending inventory, yani ke closing stock, which we called it, total cost of goods sold, and then gross profit. If it is like in minus, so we can, if it is like loss, we can put it in parenthesis and it would be in minus only. So after writing that part, this company name and the covered period, we'll go ahead by categorizing it. Revenue, sales, gross sales, less bed merchandises. This would result in net sales. Then cost of goods sold, beginning inventories, purchase goods, raw materials, manufacturing labor, total goods available, ending inventory, total cost of goods sold, and then gross profit or loss. Okay, this is part of our revenue section. So these are not like very rigid in nature. They can be changed, okay, based on the type of product we are dealing with, and the type of company and the nature of the companies we are dealing with. So I hope it is clear to you. Continuing further, the second portion of the second primary category of an income statement is the operating expenses. Operating expenses are the expenses which we need as a day-to-day expenses to run a business. So in order to run a business on a day-to-day basis, what we required salaries to be paid, rent has to be given if our land is on rent, utilities, transportation can be either ways, like transportation can be for the employees who are working in the company, and transportation can also be with respect to the acquiring raw materials, transferring from one place to another place also. Advertising is also comes under operating expenses, the expenses which we are spending to promote our businesses and to market our business. And then other expenses also. So it would sum up as the total operating expenses. Okay, and it would head under the operating income or operating loss. So this is how it would look like. So after revenue part, this is our operating expenses, which constitutes of salaries, rent, utilities, transportation, advertising, marketing, others, and total operating expenses, and build up into the operating income or loss. As simple as that. Now the third part is gains or losses from the continuing operations. So other gains would be other expenses and interest expenses. Then total gains, losses from continuing operations, income before taxes, and then tax expenses, then income from continuing operations. This is how it would look like. Okay, so these are the gains from the continuing operations. Other gains, we would subtract other expenses and interest expenses. Then we will get total gain or loss from continuing operations. Then it would come under like income before taxes. Then we will subtract tax expenses, and then income from continuing operations would be the end result of it. And the final category in an income statement is the non-recurring event. Non-recurring, which are like not part of our continuing or operating expenses, which can be like not recurring in nature. So income from discounted operations, which can be a part of losses from discounted operations, gain from extraordinary items, losses from extraordinary items, gain from accounting changes, losses from accounting changes. So if there are certain expenses or gains in our journals based on non-recurring events, like these are like once in a while kind of expenses, and out of nowhere we have to spend something, or out of nowhere we get some sort of super normal profit or something like this. So this will come under this part, and in an Excel sheet we have to write this the way they are appearing in here. Okay, so these categories are what most businesses use for their income statement. These are the 4 categories which most of the businesses use. However, you are free to change as you seems fit. So based on your requirement, based on your nature of business, based on the kind of accounting you are dealing with, you can change the categories also. Always add spaces between categories and subcategory sections. This ensures that you won't get confused with tightly packed information. So if you can see this part, so they are always trying to skip a cell so that these does not become very tightly packed information. So we can see it where the separation is, and indent each subsection to help differentiate it from other section. In the home ribbon, you can find the indent button under alignment. So this is the alignment part. So this I told you earlier also, based on your understanding or based on your requirement, we have to format the Excel sheet we are working on. Okay, you can also resize the columns to ensure that all content fit. Do that by double clicking on the line between column A and B. If we click on here, so it will the size of the cell would adjust automatically, and we can comprehend it like little better. So now, when all the categories and subcategories have been assorted in the income statement which we are trying to prepare, now we need to prepare the formulas for our income statement. Okay, so how to insert formulas? I have told you this part earlier also when we were creating some dashboards. I guess I don't recall where we were doing it, but we have done it. So formulas in your income statement are simple. Income statement तो वैसे भी बहुत आसान ही formula लगते हैं, plus minus का ही खेल लगता है बस. After all, it's just a matter of adding or subtracting values, because what we all need to do is to add something and then subtract something. So we have to have this sense in our mind, so that we can comprehend what things needs to be added in our income statement and what's need to be subtracted in order to make our income statement. However, all values are connected. Since all these values are interlinked with each other, you should be careful when writing a formula. So we have to be careful when we are writing formulas. First, prepare the formula for net sales. All you need is to find the sum of the entries here. To do that, type is equals to sum. This is the basic formula which I have told you earlier in the sessions also, is equals to sum, and then parenthesis on, and then select all entries under the sales subsection. So all these there are the sales, yeah. So all these has to be added. All entries under the sales subsections has to be added. Don't forget to hold the shift key to select multiple cells. This also I told you, if you want to hold the if you want to select multiple cells, what you have to do, you have to use the shift key in order to hold multiple cells. So this is how it is done. So this is sales part. This is our sales value. This is gross sales. This is less, and this is bad merchandise. And we have to put the formula in here, is equals to sum, parenthesis open, and B6 to B8. We have to add all these things. Now for the second part, which is like cost of goods sold, has two subtotals. This has two subtotals. The first one is total goods available. This is the sum of all your current inventory. To find this value, repeat the formula above and select all entries above total sell goods. So we can copy it, or we can just drag it down to add cost of goods sold, like beginning inventory, purchase goods, raw materials, manufacturing labors. These has to be added in order to find out the total goods available. Okay, just give me 2 minutes time. I'll just rejoin. Just give me 2 minutes. Yeah, sorry for this little interruption. We will continue from where we have left. So, yeah, this is I told you how to get total goods available by adding all these things. Now, continuing further, the total cost of goods sold is the sum of total goods available and less ending inventory. So, after getting total goods available, what we have to do? We have to subtract our ending inventory, which is typically known as closing stocks. And then if we will do that, we will get total cost of goods sold. So by adding these two categories, we will get this. Okay. And once we have that value, compute your gross profit using this formula. Now we have had this revenue with us, okay, and cost of goods sold and gross profit. So what we have to do, we have to compute the gross profit, which is net sales. This is our net sales, and we have to subtract total cost of goods sold. Simply, if we want to find the profit of a business, what we have to do, we should have net sales in our hand, and then the cost of that goods sold, we will minus it, and we will get the gross profit. As simple as that. It is like, if I can give you like very generic example of it. So if we want to calculate the gross profit, we'll have to first look the net sales. For example, our net sale is rupees 200. So if I am selling some product for rupees 2000 or 200, and the cost which I am incurring while preparing it is 100. So if I'll subtract my revenues out of my revenues with respect to the cost I'm incurring while preparing that product, I'll get the gross profit or gross. Sorry, screen is not visible. Is it? Hello? Can you see my screen?
No, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
Hello, I'll try to plug it again. Stop sharing. Sharing. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. This is how we get. So this is the way to get the gross profit. Okay. So now will have to go for our operating expenses. The second part of it. First part was revenue, and the second part is operating expenses. The formula for total operating expenses is like the one used in the net sales. Simply is equals to sum parenthesis, then select all the set under this subcategory. So this is our operating expenses, which is salaries. Say for example, 2,000 rent, 5,000 utilities, itna transportation, 5,000 advertising, marketing, others. Total operating expenses, we'll just sum it all and we will get a figure which would constitute our operating expenses. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to find out that operating income. So in order to compute our operating income, or in some cases loss also, use the formula gross profit loss minus total operating expenses. So we got this gross profit, and then from this gross profit we'll have to minus the total operating expenses. So for example, our gross profit was 100, and I'll minus like total operating expenses. My other operating expenses were rupees 50. Then I get the operating income. My operating income is rupees 50. Okay. So actually, when we are talking about this gross profit, तो इसमें हम सिर्फ दो चीज का ध्यान रखते हैं. हमारी नेट सेल से हमको कितना पैसा मिल रहा है, and the amount which we are incurring while preparing that product. But when we are talking about the operating expenses, so इसमें we have to include salaries, rent or other operating expenses, which will further diminize our what we call it, revenue, or and by way of having certain figures of operating expenses which we incurred while selling the product. Okay, so this is our operating income. So after operating income, the third component of an income statement is the gain, or in some cases losses, from continuing operations. So in order to compute your total gains or losses from continuing operations by using the sum function, then once you have that amount, find your income before taxes with this formula. So we have to use this formula, is equals to operating income or losses. This is our operating income or losses, and we have to plus total gains. So if we get certain things out of it, we will have to add it, and we have to clubbed it into the income statement which we are preparing. Continuing further, to get your income from continuing operations, add your income before taxes and then less tax values and operating income. So this is how it has to be done. This is our total gains from continuing operations. Income before tax, we'll have to less the taxes, and if we'll add both these things, we will get the income from continuing operations. You then need to find the total gains, losses from non-recurring events. So non-recurring events is the last part for our income and statements categories. We have to use the sum function to do the simple all non-recurring events. We'll club it into it, and then we'll run the sum formula, and we'll add all these things, and we will get total gains from non-recurring events. And then what we have to do to calculate net profit. So out of all these four categories, what we are intended to find is the net profit. So what we have to do, we have to add the income from continuing operations and non-recurring gains or losses. So we will add both these cells and we will get the net income. So once the net income is, so this is the final part which we have to do. Just continue it. Let's show you how it would look like to us. I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes,
ज़्यादा okay, so for example, this is a sample of it. This is the name of the company. I told you how to do it. Cover period. We have cover period is this 17, 18, 19, 21. The revenue part is this. Okay. Sales is this. So sales में क्या क्या था? Gross sales, less bad merchandise. So these are the values. Out of this, we got the net sales. So we just add both these sales and we get the net sales. Then the second part under revenue is cost of goods sold. So our beginning inventory was this, purchase good was this, raw materials is this. This is the ending inventory which we'll have to subtract. So we'll get the cost of goods sold by simply see these are the formula, both these things. And then gross profit. Gross profit is net sales or minus total cost of goods sold. So we get the क्या बोलते हैं इसको, gross profit. These are our operating expenses. This is the sum of all operating expenses. This is the operating income we are getting. These are the gains from continuing operations. Okay. And then these are the non-recurring events. Typically, these would be zero only because it is very less likely to occur in a financial year. Then we will get the net income out of it, income from continuing and total. Okay, this is the sample file. Now, starting from where we have left. So this is, we got the net income. I hope I am making sense and you are getting what have been taught to you. A quick response from your end would help.
Yes, sir.
Getting it? Type it or say it. मोबाइल से टाइप तो हो जाता होगा. यस और नो. ओमकार जादव, यस. And at least few more, na? 15, 13 of you are there. 4, 5 would help me. Others are not getting it or what? Yes, sir. Okay, chalo. So we'll continue. So this is what we got, is the net income. Then what we have to do, we have to format our document. So it would just look like this only initially. So we have to format it. To make our document easier to read, format it so that negative numbers appear red. This is how it looks like. So so we have to put all our negative numbers in red. So it is more easier for us to comprehend if there are some certain red things. So these are because of the negativity of it, because the nature of the numbers are negative. So do this so that you can quickly analyze your statement with just a glance. With the naked eyes, you can easily identify which part is negative in this whole income statement. To do that, select all your data, then look at the drop down menu in the number section at the home button. This I had already discussed in quite detailed in one of the session. So you have to do it. So this is the general, and you have to select the numbers and you have to do it, format. Choose more number formats. You will see a new window titled Format Cells. Look for the number tab at the top row. Click on it. Then under the category sub window, choose currency. Find a symbol, correct symbol that represent your currency accurately. Whether you want to go with US dollars or euros or Indian currency, whatever, you can choose it. Afterward, under the negative numbers sub window, select the dollar sign, or you can do it for like rupee sign with a red font color option. Okay, you can do it easily. So this is currency. This is the way you have. This is the place where you have to click on and hit enter. You should then see all negative values in your data, making it easier to find and see. Also, select each category, subtotal and total rows, and assign different colors. That makes it easier to read and gives your income statement a professional look. So this is how it is done in here. You can see revenues are in green, gross profit का अलग color है, operating expense का अलग color है. So this is showing the categories. So revenue is one category, operating expenses is another, pays from continuing operation is another, and the fourth one is non-recurring. So this is based on your interpretation, and based on your mindset, you can go ahead with these things. This will give us the more professional look at it in here. Now, once you have prepared everything, place all the actual values that you have prepared. All amounts you entered should be positive unless it's for a raw that is marked less. सारी चीज हमको पॉजिटिव में रखनी है. As simple as that. We'll have to put all the values and see how your business performs. So based on this, now that you know where you make money and where your expenses are, you can see. You can see if you are hitting your goals. So based on this, we can see whether our business is profitable or not, or something like this. Using this document, you can see how efficiently you run your business. This can help us to understand whether our business is doing good or not. You can also compare this document between 2 periods. It's especially helpful if you are making strategic changes. You will see if the changes you made are effective or not. As simple as that. So this is what we had today. This is how we can prepare our income statement, and I hope you got it. And this is all from my side. If you have any query or problem, you can ask me ahead. Otherwise, on next session, we will try to build a balance sheet based on it. And one more thing I would like to have, if you want to do it like simultaneously with me, I am typing all these things by my own. So you should have your laptops ready with you if you want to do it. Otherwise, I'll just teach you the way I taught it today. I'll just show you with the help of screenshots and all these things. I'll just show you, and you can do it at your own pace, at your home or whenever you want to do it. But since these all statements which I'm gonna teach you, like income statement is our today's session, and then balance sheet and cash flow statements. The basic functions which we learned during our initial days using Excel are part of this only. If anything which is like which we haven't covered so far would arise with the passage of time or in the due sessions which we are intended to cover in the coming future, then I'll make you understand them like from different perspective, or I'll teach you the concept. Otherwise, I don't think that you need any extra Excel knowledge which we haven't covered so far in order to build all these 3 statements: income statement, cash flows, and balance sheet. So I hope I make myself clear. If you have any doubt, you can go ahead, or any suggestions or anything, or any problem you face during it, or you can also go ahead with you got it or not. You can also tell me if you have any problem. Just let me know. Otherwise, we'll just finish it in 1 or 2 minutes.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Omkar is side. Sir, after completing the course of financial modeling, could we get the lecture links?
You want to get the lectures?
Lecture links, sir, video lecture links.
So, have you got any lecture links so far?
No, sir.
Okay. But I requested one of your faculty from Matrix to provide you the lecture links. But I don't know. But she promised me that she would do that. But I don't know what was the reason she didn't. But yeah, I'll ask her again if it is possible to provide you the link. Then they should provide the link. At least this is like, if I'm not mistaken, these links are valid for 1 week only or something like this. So if you have a recording, if they will share a Zoom link with you, so you can access it for 1 week, something like this. So, acha, you got recording links for other subjects also or not?
No, sir.
So you okay. So you got no video links, at all. Okay, this might be the policy of the college, but yeah, since I am teaching this subject, I'll ask her again to provide the meeting links, yeah, recording meetings also. Thank you. Anyone else? Anything? Any suggestions? Any problem you are facing? Anything you want to express? I'll just wait for 30 seconds more and I'll just finish it. Rahul ने तो ऑडियो भी ऑन नहीं की, पता नहीं क्या। Nitesh, are you there? Nitesh is not here. Pratiksha. Mayuri, Deepika, Chaitanya. At least just let me know whether you followed what has been taught today or not.
Yes, sir.
Chaitanya, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, so let's finish it. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.